I was always, believe it or not, more shy and timid. The problem is I also really loved big hair and makeup. You know what I mean? Like, but going to an all-girls school, that's what they made fun of. They wait after school to beat me up with pipes.
With pipes?
With
physical
pipes. Physical pipes.
Were you hit with one?
No, but my hair was lit on fire.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
You made the claim that you went on a vegan diet and almost died.
This is my way of saying I was the unhealthiest I ever was. I was like, why am I so tired? Why is my skin looking terrible? Why am I bloating? Why am I constipated? Why is my mood changed? Why am I dressed? But even people are getting tricked to vegan and cruelty. They think they see that little bunny that it's vegan, that it's safe. And I'm going, no, it's not. And then when I look at these other companies that say that they're safe.
Jenny McCarthy is a multi-talented TV personality and 9-time best-selling author.
Host of The Masked Singer and the founder of clean beauty brand Formless Beauty.
She has used her platform to inspire change and raise awareness for families facing similar challenges.
Jenny shares her powerful journey of transforming personal pain into purpose and how she continues to advocate for health, wellness, and authenticity.
Well, Jenny, welcome. I'm so excited. I'm here with two beautiful women, my wife and Jenny McCarthy.
I know. It's so nice to meet you both in person. I'm a huge fan of yours. I'm getting to know you now, so I'm grateful.
Well, listen, we have so much in common. That was the first thing I said. From our childhood, all the way to getting sick, all the way to having an autistic child, although ours was adopted, but needless to say, it still brings a huge stress into your life. And then pain to purpose. I mean, we both are on purpose. All of us are on purpose with people suffering neurotoxic illness, autism spectrum, everything that's happening today. I want people to know. I want people to know who you are.
Me
and
too.
the reason, meaning that if you bring up your name and my name sometimes like that, I'm, wasn't that the guy that stole from the twins? Or, those are my kids that are 28 now. But, your story, you were known as the anti-vaxxer. I mean, you were like the poster girl at one point, really just destroyed in the media. You said something before, there's no way anyone could be canceled more. So I'm not even afraid of it anymore. But that's why I want people to know, because you didn't just jump into making a skincare line.
No.
This is something that you're passionate about.
There's definitely a whole story to be told. And really, if I look back at my own health history started when I was very young, of course. I was one of those kids that had strep throat so many times a year that I think I lived on penicillin. So of course, cut to as I get older, found out I have celiac disease, more autoimmune stuff. I mean, Hashimoto's, leaky gut that I'm still trying to figure out how to heal.
Yeah.
But I'm in it. I'm like knee deep in it. But really, the alarm bells went off when my son was diagnosed with autism. That was hard for any parent, obviously. And I know there's a lot of controversy around right now about parents getting upset about the diagnosis. But what I think people don't quite know, and that autism is really a spectrum disorder. You've got kids that can get jobs and function. And then there's kids who, like Evan, were having debilitating seizures. Like he went into cardiac arrest not far after his MMR. So when something like that, when your kid gets sick, of course you're going to be upset and you're going to throw everything you possibly got at it.
Yeah.
And I literally had a conversation with God and said, if you help point me in the direction to help heal my boy, I promise I will try to teach the world how I did it. And I won't shut up and I will keep going. And I feel like I'm still living by his word because I won't shut up. I don't care how many times you try to cancel me. I will still be here trying to help parents. And then hopefully with my story, guide people into things that are modalities out there that can get your kid better, or even now time to take care of us, the parents. When we put so much focus on our kids, we tend to put ourselves in the backseat. And I did that for many, many years until menopause happened and it went everything turned on or everything got worse.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what? I want to live as long as possible to be here for my son. Because I think one of the main things that parents who have kids with autism fear is dying. them. Because you go, who's going to know my kid
Yeah.
as well as me? Who's going to take care of my kid as well as me? And even my son, he's doing very, very well, but still lives with me, might live with me forever.
He's 22.
He's 23 now.
23.
But you think, it keeps me awake at night. It does keep me awake at night. And people are like, well, he's doing great. Yes, he is. But, I have so much PTSD from his multiple seizures that go into cardiac arrest. That I made a commitment and a promise to myself after I got him to a good place. Now I'm going to focus on me and this is why I found you, because I am attracted to the vibrational people who want to help people, who want to help heal. And it's been a really rough road and still is. I'm still in it.
It's been a rough road, right? What we really share in common is the calling. Like, you cried out to God and said, if this blah, 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 I'm going to take this to the world, right?
Yeah.
That's exactly what happened. Merily on her knees many times when I was sick and, crying out for answers for me and our family. And we had 2 young boys at that time, but God spoke to her heart as clear as I'm talking. And that doesn't happen all the time. I mean, she might say that's happened twice in her life, but, that he said, not only am I going to get him well, meaning me, but he's going to take a message to the world. Here I am. But the same thing. So, the reason we don't care, the reason we're not afraid to stand up is because we're taking a message to the world.
It's true. It's true. When you have faith, you feel the armor of God.
Yeah.
So,
and if he is for us, who can be against us?
And by the way, we pray the armor of God in my prayer time every morning. I put the armor of God on us, our mission, our business, obviously our family, because that's it. That's the battle's always spiritual.
It is true.
In the moment you made that covenant with God, it was on.
It's on.
It's on. But he's blessing you for it.
Absolutely. The interesting thing that happened, and someone asked me about well, did your son mind that he also became a poster child? Because I wrote 3 books about him and how I healed a lot of his.
I think you have 9 New York Times bestsellers.
I do. And, but he had so many comorbid conditions that I was like, I need to tell people this is how I did it. And maybe it will help someone else. And someone said, well, how does he feel now that he's older that you did that? Because he didn't sign up for it. I'm like, we might have signed up for it before he came to this planet, but it's true. He didn't necessarily. So he turned 13 and he Googled himself.
Aww.
And he was like, hey, Mom, we need to have a conversation. Because I'm all over the internet and everybody knows everything about me. Why? And so I kind of sat down with him and had a bigger conversation with him and said, listen, I know it's shocking and surprising right now, but I can't tell you how many parents and kids that you did help. And when I first came out, I saved all of these letters from parents. I mean, it looks like a Hallmark movie, the amount of letters that I saved for Evan. So he someday got to see there was a big purpose in it. And he can visually see, I am helping people. I did help
Or
kids.
exploiting him.
Exactly.
Right.
And so he read those letters and was like, I get it. Let's keep going.
That's great.
So-
Wow.
He sees your heart in it.
Yeah,
He feels
yeah,
your
yeah.
heart in it.
He's just wonderful.
Next time you bring him.
I will.
Yeah, I would love that.
Let's go back to your childhood, right?
Yeah.
I had dyslexia, made fun of. My greatest fear even to this day is if I have to read something out loud, that I'll mess up and be made fun of, right? Meaning the wounds are there, right?
Yep.
But I always say, but it also is, therein lies my greatness too.
Totally,
And therein
it's
lies
true.
what drives me. Talk about you, because you had a similar thing, right? You were made fun of. You were, I think, physically bullied, emotionally bullied,
Oh, yeah.
all of it.
Yeah.
And, tell us about that, because I believe it really set you up for who you are, because you are a rebel. I think, you use a little bit of humor even with that, but tell that story.
I mean, I definitely think the bullying prepared me for my years in Hollywood, because there is, no bigger bullying than the media at times and the mob, if you will, now on social media. But in school, I went to an all-girls school, and typical teenagers, they can be mean, they can be vicious, and I was always, believe it or not, more shy and timid, and I was non-confrontational. I try to, keep quiet in school the problem is I also really loved big hair and makeup. You know what I mean? Like, and I would wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning to make sure my hair was going to put on makeup, but going to an all girls school, that's what they made fun of. They would wait after school to beat me up with pipes.
With pipes?
Physical pipes.
Were you hit with one?
No, but my hair was lit on fire.
Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So,
And these girls go to the Catholic school as well?
some of them did go to the Catholic school. Some of them was on the city bus home. I didn't grow up in a great neighborhood. So the bus ride to the nice Catholic school was about 40 minutes. So I had to kind of go through the bad neighborhoods, and that's where I would get also beat up and bullied.
Was it,
Wow,
were they jealous, or do you just look that much different than that? Like, what was it?
Maybe it was probably a little jealousy.
Yeah,
I mean, my hair wasn't too far off of the way I'm wearing it right now, except just with a lot more Aquanet and big hair.
Yeah. That was
Whereas, you know, in the girls.
Did you use a Gree or gee, your hair smells terrific?
It was Sun-In back in the day. Do you remember
Okay.
Sun-In?
Oh, you did Sun-In, I think.
I didn't do Sun-In.
Okay, I'm sorry. Lemon juice. You did lemon juice.
Oh, to light it.
Right.
But then I also had a fear of public speaking. Whenever I stood up in front of the class, I couldn't speak. I stuttered. I had trouble reading any reports, so I couldn't do it. I'd have my mom call me out sick and anytime I had to do a presentation. And plus, when I used to stand up in front of the class, I would hear the girls making fun of me.
Oh.
So it was...
When I would be reading, I would hear that.
Right?
Yeah.
And it happened to me. Like, I would talk like this because I was so scared. And plus, in Catholic school, the only way you can show either your wealth or your not wealthiness, I should say, I don't have the right words right now, I just got off a flight, your shoes.
Yeah.
So people would look at your shoes and grade you on your socioeconomic status.
And you were very poor.
I was very poor. Yeah. My dad worked 3 jobs just to put his girls through Catholic school. So we didn't have much money. So I got hand-me-down shoes that were not trending. They had holes in them. So there was a lot of like shame in that also. So leaving high school, people said like it was going to be the best years of your life. It wasn't the best years of my life. I got out, went to college. Those were a couple fun years. Because people don't really pay attention to those types of things in college.
Were you like hot in college at that point?
I don't know about hot. I actually turned into a little bit of a stoner in college.
Okay, you guys have a lot.
I know we do.
I was saying, like, am I listening to my wife's story? No, because she grew up poor.
I did.
She was made fun of.
I was kicked. We talked about that. I had about a 40-minute bus ride to school.
Yeah.
And when I was in 5th grade, a girl kicked the crap out of my white pants. Mm-hmm. And when I moved, my mom remarried when I went into 8th grade. And there was a girl in that school, like I was just making friends or trying to make friends. And one of the girls was just so mean. And I went with lipstick in 8th grade. And because I too liked all that stuff. My mom grew up in retail and I was
very similar.
And the only reason I had nice clothes is because my mom got a killer discount.
Oh, wow.
Because we were dirt poor.
Yeah.
My papa bought cars off people's lawns.
Yeah.
I mean, so anyway, so I totally relate. And this one girl, she called me Rosie. So I was like forever Rosie, but I mean, not spoken of, but that deposits something into you.
It does.
And and me too, I wasn't like someone that wanted to confront things. I always say, I think I became an extrovert because, well, first of all, my voice was never heard. It didn't matter. So either I was going to stand up for myself and have some type of say in how my life would go, or I was going to get left behind in every way. And
it's funny because she loves clothes and makeup to this day. That's why she loves your product.
That's great.
You know what I'm saying? It's like because of a lot of that.
I think it's all of that. But, you know, we had to.
But it does prepare you for things later in life. And I wound up leaving college because I couldn't afford it. I was taking out loans, but my mom was using my college loans to pay the high school loans. So I eventually had to leave college.
So yeah, so you left off, you're a stoner. Oh, by the way, she was a stoner too. Okay. Yeah. When I met her in college, right? I'm like,
there's a whole story.
Yeah, I have
there.
nothing to do with her. Like, not interested.
That's really
so you're in
freaking
college
funny.
as a stoner.
So I was such a stoner. I was also starting to sell weed because I
You're
had
an
no money. I was an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I get it. Totally get it. I didn't do that, but I
I
get
hear
it.
my producer laughing in the background for some
My
reason.
son did that.
Yeah,
So we
okay.
get it.
Yeah,
We're
I'm
good.
like, well, I've figured out how to do business. And then I wound up having to leave because it was just too expensive. And I went back home and I was like, I'm such a loser. I had to move back into my house. I had a waterbed that was like back in the day. I'm like crying.
Oh yeah, but waterbeds were big in the 80s.
They
and
were
90s,
big in the
right?
80s. It was a hand-me-down waterbed that no one wanted anymore that I got. But then I thought to myself, you know what? Why don't I try to pursue a dream of going to Hollywood and trying to make it? I'd always try to pretend. My play growing up was pretending to be Oprah in the basement. So I would have chairs, microphones. I would interview people with my Mr. Microphone. And I just wanted to, I didn't know what exactly I wanted to do. I wanted a little bit of everything was my goal. So I took pictures, like Polaroid photos of myself, and looked up the yellow pages and sent out photos to all the agencies. They all rejected me. Till one gave me a chance, and I got a junkyard commercial or something like that. But when I got to Hollywood, I remember people trying to mold me into what they wanted. And thank God for my upbringing, the way I was raised, because I came into Hollywood with such a solid foundation, with a great upbringing, that I was like, oh, no, you're not going to try to change me. I love who I am.
Right.
And if you don't like it, then you're not the right employer for me.
Absolutely.
And so going into Hollywood, I think that's why I've been able to be successful and maybe kind of out of the gate a little bit, because I was just uniquely myself. Then I always had this voice in my head that said, you're not famous to be famous. You're not famous because you're actually really good at what you do. There is a higher calling for you. There is a purpose. And I thought and I remember hearing this going like, okay, well, what is it? Show it to me. Like, what is it? And please don't let it be breast. Like, I remember saying those words. I'm like, is that what it's going to be? Because it was so pressing on my soul.
See, that's God though.
Yes, of course. And it
that's
was so pressing, but it was kind of preparing me. And then the day I got my son's autism diagnosis, I literally said, I wish it was breast cancer. Like, because it stuck with me so long that I knew that then, though, this was my divine purpose. I knew that. And I literally felt a physical, I talked about it on Oprah as like God's Valium, just this like sense of peace, love, and kept hearing everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. And no matter what came my way, like I said, those seizures alone would bring any mother to their knees. Those rides in the ambulance, those nights in the ICU, but thank God for faith. Now, talking about this armor that I built up because of being bullied. See how I like to take it all? I do get back there.
Yeah, that's what
Yes,
I would get back there, but the bullying in high school absolutely prepared me for when I first came out and talked about my son. In fact, when I wrote my first book and I did Oprah as my first launch onto the stage with my story, she'd said to me, I waited for someone like you, because I've been receiving letters from parents saying something happened after my son got their, something happened. Like parents just knew something happened. I had a child, maybe that, and this isn't for every child. This has happened for my child. So I went in telling my story. It just so happens that it matched a lot of other people's. There was something happened after a visit that their child lost language, eye contact, and regressed. And then comorbid conditions came up, whether that was seizures, leaky gut, you name it, eczema. I can go on and on and on. So with that going on Oprah, she said, we're going to have to go live on my show because there will be enough government agencies that will want to shut it down and censor what you're going to say. So we're going to go live that day. So I remember talk about praying. I was like, just let me be of service. but please help like channel me because I literally was like this on Oprah. Like I had to sit on my hands at one point.
Oh, wow.
At one point I asked her to repeat the question because I couldn't remember the question because I was just so scared. Yeah. But as soon as the lights went on, I mean, as soon as they said, 3, 2, 1, that peace came over me and I was able to deliver my story.
Your purpose.
There was, of course, as people know, if you've followed me or know of me, so much backlash, so much. And I remember just watching
the backlash came with the because you were like, was the issue, right?
Yeah.
And then, then it really came. So kind of tell that part.
Yeah, it was, the first few months was okay. It was like all these parents came out and said, see, I'm not crazy. There was a tsunami of parents' support going, thank you for finally saying something. It wasn't too long after that I had gotten a visit from someone that worked for, he has his own PR agency. And he said, I've been approached by a government agency to be hired to do a campaign against you, to discredit you. And I was like, well, I'm just a mom telling my story. And if it happens to so match other people's, how would you discredit that? And he's like, they're going to label you as an anti. And I giggled at that comment because I said, well, that's interesting to me because I haven't told people do not.
Yeah.
I'm telling people that maybe these are not one size fits all. Maybe there's some kids that have a predisposition that they can't, have 6 one visit.
Absolutely.
And I laughed at him and I was like, that's not going to stick. And he goes, well, I'm telling you this because I didn't take the job. I declined it because my son was also injured. But I want to drive over here and tell you personally because, that it's going to come. And I kind of fluffed it off. And then literally it was like an overnight campaign. It was newspaper, magazine. It was, you can tell.
And by the way, this was before like anti was a big thing.
It was before.
Yeah, I think you were the first person I was associated. That's what I said when he mentioned you. I said she was the first. She was the first poster.
It was
girl
like
for it.
20 years ago. I was the very first one.
Yeah. So anyone got coined anti, even if you were say, hey, let's make safer. Right. Let's look at the schedule. Something bad's happened.
That's true. And my favorite thing is now looking back and watching some people do their podcasts, going like, well, this. I'm not too sure, but that doesn't make me an anti-vaxxer. I'm just wondering, if it's not effective, should we do boosters? But I'm not anti-vaxxer.
Because no one wants that.
No one wants that. But I'm like, guess what? That does now make you an anti-vaxxer.
I know.
Because anytime you question it, you get that label. And a lot of people have learned that lesson.
Well, I mean, you saw just recently, Bobby Kennedy sitting, before his peers, Congress, the world, had to deal with that. Yes. They were calling him an anti when he wanted 2 things. He just wants them treated like any other drug.
Yeah.
If there's injury, you should be able to sue the company that made it because it's the only drug you can't sue the drug company for. And secondly, he wants double-blind studies done on just like every other drug.
Right.
And that's all he wants. Okay, so that doesn't make him an anti. No. That makes him wanting safer. Yeah, exactly. Smart. Wanting safer for kids.
What people don't realize is that they go, well, of course it's been studied. No, don't you think that it should be equal to other drugs in the market? Absolutely. A double-blind placebo and childhood have not been.
But because of that, it's the cash cow. And the average person out there doesn't understand that. If you're a drug company and you don't have to prove safety, okay, that's a lot of money, hundreds of millions of dollars to prove safety. We don't have to prove safety. Oh, and we can't get sued.
Right.
Yeah, that's a cash cow. You're going to take that away, they're coming after you. And listen, all we want safer product.
Yeah.
And we want the truth.
Yeah.
Right. And you saw, Kennedy exposed yet another that it was bad research was stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. That showed there was damage. How much more of that is going to
I think a lot is going to be seen now, and if you look, I try to break it down, dumb it down even more for people, like studying lung. You're going to test people that don't against people who do and see if there's an increase in lung. You would think there would be a person group. That study has never been
We're
done.
not doing- yeah, we're
It's
not-
never been done.
That study has never been done. You know, like I said, I've learned so much since I started diving in with my son. You know, people say, oh, you saved his life. I'm like, no. He saved mine. He absolutely saved mine. I never would have realized the conditions that I have going on in me and am able to start earlier if it wasn't for him. Like I said, my own health conditions, I said to myself, I'm either going to be chasing a path of looking for cures or I want to be on the path of prevention. And that's really kind of when I made my decision to like, okay, I am going to now put the oxygen mask on myself. Thank you to my son who's taught me everything on how to heal him. And now it is time for me. And boy, have I dove in. Like I said, that's why I'm a super fan of yours, into cleaning out my body, detoxing, carnivore diet, which we'll get into, but also learning about biological dentistry.
Yeah, you actually need my program, because my program teaches people what I've been teaching doctors for 20 years, where real detox it really is. And that's at the cell.
Yeah.
Real detox isn't as simple as just sitting in a sauna, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's not all the cleanses that people do and say, I cleansed, right? I did a heavy metal cleanse. I did a juice cleanse. Not so simple. It's like most of those things are poopers, right? They get people pooping, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with pooping.
Yeah.
You've been not pooping in your life
I'm
once.
a fan of pooping now.
I'm a fan. But my point is real detox is upregulating what's actually broken in the cell.
Yeah.
And once that breaks, now you're holding toxins there.
Yeah.
And now you don't turn the bad genes off. And now life just starts going. And this is when nothing works. Diet changes work, but you're still not well. It's like you have hormone challenges. It's at the cell. We'll talk more about that.
Please do. Yeah, please do. I mean, I've gotten remarkably so much better the last few years because of all the work that I put on myself. But as you know, it's a marathon. Yeah. It takes a while, especially with someone who grew up on antibiotics their whole life. Yeah. My gut
your microbiome
has, gunshot wounds.
I always say that people get sick and it's a three-legged stool. Certain genes get triggered, but it's the stressors that trigger them. And most of them are toxin in origin. Right. And they build up in the cell where the DNA is to trigger the gene. And then the microbiome is a factor. It's one of the legs of the stool. Right. Problem is you have to deal with all of that correctly. Yeah. And that's what people are missing.
My thing is still of trying to figure out how to fix the gut, because the probiotics don't necessarily make it there. You can say that they do, but the percentage of it is, can it heal? I don't know.
Some people need fecal microbial
That's what I was about
transplant.
to bring up right now.
Yeah.
That's like, but then who's pooped
Have you done that?
No, but I of course know all about it.
For people listening, that's when you take someone else's fecal matter from a donor that's been tested. This is not, we're just not talking a bunch of crap, literally. And then you're implanting that either orally, it sounds worse than it is, implanting it, or with an enema.
Correct.
And you have to understand that so many bacteria that are in the human microbiome, you can't put in a pill or isolate them. I mean, Akkermansia is one that everyone hears a lot about, lately, because it stimulates the GLP-1 receptors. Right. Anyways, but it's one that we just recently isolated. There's so many more, right? But the point is the fecal microbial transplant, sometimes it's needed.
It's true. And that's going to be my last step if need be, but I'm trying everything to avoid it because I'm scared of donors that got.
Yeah. Well, I would never, because to your point, you're absolutely getting some.
Right? So I'm
there's
maybe
actually
I'll
a company that does it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's,
there's a company that does it that their donors haven't. So, but
so you don't have to wait.
We'll make those connections. You do in this country have to have a diagnosis of C. diff, which isn't hard because a lot of people who have dysbiosis have some level of C. diff, right? But I've watched lives change, autoimmune shut off with fecal microbial
You really have?
transplants. Oh yeah. No, it's a big deal.
This is my favorite topic though. This is why I'm here. Yeah. Honestly, is my favorite topic.
If we're going in this direction right now, right? There's you can also stem cell treatments, right? Even enemas with stem cells. There's also some people have Crohn's. There's new research. There's a bacteria called MAP that there's one company in the world that's testing for this. And evidently 98% of people with Crohn's have it. However, it can cause havoc in a lot of other people's guts. But this MAP, because I think it's a mycotoxin, mycoplasma aureus, para something. Anyways, I'm trying to think of what the MAP stands for. But anyways, and there's new studies coming out on this one bacteria that, again, it's opportunistic. It shows up in people who are hit by mold exposures, heavy metals, right? Things like that. And then this bacteria takes over and they end up with this unfixable gut problem. So there's a lot of research. You're going to hear more about this in the next year.
So do I wait to do anything?
Well, I mean, sometimes I would suggest saying, hey, start with the fecal microbial transplant. Here's the thing, and this is why I said you need my program, because if you have a lot of toxins upstream still, you might want to do some work there first. Get your cells detoxing normally first, and then put the transplant in. Because it's like a river, right? The fish are dying downstream, the algae's dying here, and you replace all of the fish, restock the fish, right? They keep dying. And then your neighbor comes over and says, hey, you might as well save your money. 20 miles up the river, they're dumping mercury in there. Yeah. That's why it's dying. So you have to be careful, right? You're not dumping a lot of toxins.
He's good.
So
he's really good.
He's really good with the analogies.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I'm toxic phobic. I mean, literally, I'm terrified.
I'm toxic phobic too.
I'm nuts. Chemtrails, I won't even go outside. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
It drives me crazy.
Yeah. If water spills in my house, my family's like, clean it up, because, mold was part of my, mercury, mold. I had it all, and it decimated my health.
I drive my family nuts.
PTSD.
Me too. Yeah. Absolutely. I've got air purifiers in every room. Like, I won't even go to a mall anymore because the people that spray you with the perfumes, because I'm chemically sensitive as well, which is why I don't have fragrance in my products. But it's like, I can't handle any more going on.
And by the way, on my Instagram, praise God, there's no fragrance, because a lot of natural companies, the one people buy, it says fragrance. And I'm like, well, no, they say it's okay. No, it's not. They're buying from these fragrance factories. They do not have to tell you what's in their product.
That's exactly right.
It's IP protected.
That's right.
And therefore, they're using products that are endocrine disruptors, cancer causers, have been banned for years because they're protecting their IP.
That's exactly right. And people don't realize, I go on lives twice a week to educate people on that, because they're like, is there fragrance? I love fragrance. I'm like, listen, they're hiding all the bad stuff underneath the one word. They are allowed, that found that legal loophole to put just fragrance, and they're hiding the phthalates, like you said, the hormone disruptors and everything in there.
Terrible. And
it's terrible. That's why when I started Formless Beauty, I literally went to the environmental working group. I'm sure you know who, EWG.org. And I said, listen, I know people don't need another celebrity brand out there. I go, but I'm in desperate need for myself. I have Hashimoto's, MTHFR gene mutation, leaky gut candida. I need to be clean. And when I did the research into this world, I couldn't believe how many people say they're clean, and they're not.
Yeah.
They're not. Even the apps that you go, oh, is it safe? I go, how is this app working? And it's saying fragrance is okay. Like, you have to be very careful. EWG is the only one I trust. And they literally said to me, we love that you came in here. You're going to hate us though, because trying to make it underneath our umbrella is going to be difficult. And it has been, but we're doing it. They gave me a list of over 900 pages of unacceptable ingredients.
Wow.
Not just 900 pages of unacceptable ingredients. I left that meeting like, oh my God, what did I get myself into? But I was like, okay, I am determined to bring forth a product where when I pass away, I can feel good that I did something good in the world, that I left something behind for future generations, for women to trust, for their kids to know, like, all right, she followed their standards, which is so tough. We're talc-free, fragrance-free, gluten-free. It goes on and on and on. Vegan, cruelty-free. But even people are getting tricked with the vegan and cruelty-free.
Oh, yeah.
They think they see that little bunny, that it's vegan, that it's safe. And I'm going, no, it's not. And then when I looked at these other companies that say that they're safe, they verify themselves. I'm like, how are they getting, who's this? They said they're verified.
Yeah. That's the new scam, is that they're verified. Yes. But the average person goes, oh, that makes them feel good about the product. Yeah.
You just have to look, you have to pull the curtain back just a little bit. And then it's like,
I want to point something out. people, when you talk about makeup and skincare and toxins, I can tell you just from reading my Instagram, people think it's a small deal. It's not a small deal. Now, EWG says, and quote me on the numbers here because you probably know because you're dealing with this every day. They say the average woman starts her day with 489 chemicals, 200 and some cause cancer or known cancer causers that they're starting their day with.
That's exactly right.
Okay. And yet those chemicals are going directly into your bloodstream.
That's exactly right.
Every day.
Every day.
This is not a small deal.
And think about when you're putting lip gloss on, you're eating it.
Yeah.
Think about when you're putting your foundation
the gut,
on.
The bloodstream.
All of it. It's so scary to me. And I love makeup, but I don't want to die for it.
Right.
So EWG, this is how good their standards are. We have to follow their restrictions. Then I go back to them and say, okay, I did it. Okay. Then they go, okay, now go back to your chemist in your lab and give us backup testing, third-party testing, again, for, let's say, my lip gloss that has aloe. We have to test for glyphosate. So now we go back.
Right, because I just did a video on this. The aloe products out there are crap. They hold a lot of toxins. And they're spraying it with glyphosate and other chemicals.
So that's how far we go. I mean, we're a pricier brand because of that. We don't use phthalates, any of that aluminum powder to darken their mascara. Our mascara is one of the very few without endocrine disruptors in it. I had no idea when I started this company that they said, big makeup was like, you're not going to be able to make mascara that's really good. It's non-toxic. And I love being told I can't do something.
And by the way, I want to point something out to people though. The eyes, the optic nerve goes right into the brain.
Yeah.
One of the tests that we do for neurotoxic illness and specifically even biotoxic illness, that means it's a toxin that attacks your brain and nerve system, is we test someone's contrast via the optic nerve for hypoperfusion. And the only reason I say that is because when you're putting things around your eyes, those tissues, it goes right into the optic nerve and it goes right into the brain.
That's right.
It's very, very, very dangerous.
It's true.
You have to make sure you're using clean product.
Exactly. And that's why waterproof, as you know, that's where a lot of the hormone disruptors are in it. That's literally what they are. So ours is water resistant, so we followed the EWG standards. We, did such a good job with it. It's like one of our MVPs because people are like, thank you for making it without aluminum powder, without the parabens, without the phthalates, without the formaldehyde. There's formaldehyde in makeup, which is horrific.
I've never promoted a makeup line yet or a skincare line yet. I said that I would.
Glass
I'll give you
containers.
I'll give you a chance to say why some of these products are great. And by the way, you loved them because you love the
We were talking about
consistency,
them,
which is like her thing. A lot of the natural products she hates because of the consistency.
Right. It's true. Because the thing is, I wanted clean, but every time I tried clean, it didn't work.
No, there was substance.
There was something wrong with it.
It feels good in your fingers. And
it was just a womp womp.
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, all right, let's sit down. My chemist wants to kill me because I beat him up so much. Because I'm like, not only does it have to be clean, but it has to work great. So you'll notice with our cleanser, like a lot of times people are using cleansers to take off their makeup. There's so many toxins in that cleanser.
Oh, yeah.
And isn't that ironic that you're using a cleanser, but you're applying more toxins on it?
Doesn't make any
So
sense.
Well, most of the cleansers have petrochemicals in it. And you're not going to read that on there. It's chemicals you just can't read.
It's exactly right. So ours, we did the work. You can take that makeup off. It melts. You're going to notice when you take off your eye makeup.
It came off very easily.
It doesn't burn your eyes.
No.
It's clean. The moisturizer, so good. Silky moisturizer. It doesn't leave any weird resin. Our exfoliator, we use essential oil. That's the only time I'll use like a scent.
How often do you use the exfoliator?
The exfoliator 3 times a week.
Okay.
3 times a week. And just a pea-sized amount. You're going to love it. I can't wait for you to try it. You're going to be like, oh, it's really good.
She thinks I need it.
No, you're fine. But
You're a
know
guy.
what?
You're not doing much else, right?
We have a hard time, as you know, with cell turnover rate as we get older.
Mm-hmm.
So we need to help out our skin a little bit. And exfoliating gives that kind of buff look. When you see people like, ooh, they've got that buff look because they're doing an exfoliant routine. So I create these products for people that do care about ingredients, that do want to pass it down to their kids and educate their girls or boys, whoever cares about skincare or makeup, because now they're starting younger and younger. I'm seeing 12-year-olds in Sephora. I'm seeing 8-year-olds doing skincare routines. And I'm like,
crazy.
I literally stop them in the aisle.
One of your products is hyaluronic acid, which if it's a good active one, it works very well.
Right.
It's proven to work in the skin. So how are you making sure that is not oxidized?
Well, ours is botanical. So, hyaluronic acid comes from fermented bacteria. I believe it's Streptococcus bacteria. You would probably know better than me. I don't know if you know that, but it's true.
Citric acid, it comes from black mold, most of it.
Right. I've got enough mold in my body to last me a lifetime. But we are botanical based. And speaking of mold, let's have a meeting after this, because I do need to knock that out of my body, and I'm not quite sure how to do that.
Right. There's a method that I've been teaching for many years. Yes, the biotoxins are, a little bit different than some other neurotoxins, but yes.
But does it work? Because I feel like
it works. 20 years of teaching it works. Yeah, I everything I learned, and I should say it this way, everything I teach is what I learned to get my own life back. And I believe in my heart that God showed me this. This one, those are the prophetic words. Like I'm not smart enough. I mean, meaning that the things that God showed me, there's just no way. And
He gave you certain skills.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
He put the resources together in front of you. And then when he would come up with it, you both know that was just like the guys you were sitting next to on the airplane.
Yeah. If I told you the stories of like how it all came together, I needed this piece of the puzzle. And I sat down on an airplane, and I sat down and started having a conversation with this random guy. And within moments, I realized he shouldn't know this stuff. So I'm like, we're talking. I'm like, what's your name? And he tells me his name. And I'm like, I think that's the guy. And I reach down in my bag and I pull out, I had like this, I was going to teach a class, I think in California. And I had a stack of studies, physical papers, right? That's kind of the way I roll. And I was like, what is his name? This guy on this study? It was him. So I'm like, what? Is this you? He was like all through these studies. So anyways, it was a piece of the puzzle that I needed. I sat there for 2 hours, the poor guy. And I just well, what about this? What about this? And I'm going through my things. I had all these questions and highlights. And anyways,
that was a divine arrangement.
Yeah.
And by the way, your whole R1 through 5 came out of that meeting.
Yeah.
It completed.
It was missing piece of what I needed. Anyways, I say all that to say, everything I teach, has been divinely.
You're very good at it, but go ahead.
Well, thank you. Well, I have to say this because we're talking about your platform, right? And, I'd be remiss if I didn't go back and say, you had, because of the way you're raised, your mother's faith, Playboy Bunny of the Year. I think October, the monthly bunny, and then the year one. The year one. And then, okay, tell me how you felt, because you had a lot of guilt, but you also said that I want you to tell them what you told your mother, but it has a lot to do with what you're doing now. Yeah.
I mean, it was really difficult to tell my parents because of obviously my upbringing. And I was $20,000 in debt from college. And I was like, I have no idea how I'm going to get to Hollywood. And that was the company that gave me my first start. And I had to break it down to them, which was horrible. I mean, I did it in a very kind of sneaky way.
Did they approach you?
Playboy?
Yeah.
No. The one agency, remember I sent my Polaroid picture to everybody? Right, they all turned me down except for one. The agency brought me in and said, you can do some commercials, but I also, there's Playboy across the street. So I was like, well, I can't go there. There's no way. My parents will disown me.
Right.
And then I found my body walking across the street, going up the elevator, going, I'm just going to have a conversation, just ask. And then I was like, how much do you pay centerfolds?
My body walking across.
It did, because I was out of body. I was like, I don't know how I'm doing this right now. And they were like, no one walks in here. You have to send in a photo. I was like, okay, forget it. So I was leaving, and the editor was walking by, and she was like, hey, why don't you throw a swimsuit on and do a test since we have a photographer here? And I was like, by the time I took the city bus home, I got a voice memo that said, you're going to be Miss October. And I was like, oh no. Oh yes, for the $20,000 I can pay off my debt, but oh no.
Well, how much, if you want to tell, how much were they giving you to do this?
$20,000.
Okay, the exact
amount
okay.
I needed to pay off my college debt. So then I was like, well, what am I going to do? So I took $2,000 out of that $20,000 and I set my parents on a cruise the week it was coming out. This way,
smart.
This way they would be away from all the phone calls, the initial phone calls, or I didn't know what was going to happen. I had no idea it was going to be newsworthy because I went to a prestigious Catholic school. And you know what I mean? It's like, oh my God. So they went on that cruise. Thank God I did, because the amount of phone calls that came in was horrible. I wound up writing them letters and having them sit on the couch, and my sister gave them letters. My mom disowned me for 3 days.
That's not bad.
Not bad. And my dad was like, oh. And I had a conversation with my mom. I said, listen, Mom, I promise you that this is not it. I promise you, if you have faith in me, I'm going to make it. Like, I know in my heart, I'm going to make it. And I'm going to make sure that I take care of you guys, and just have faith in me. I'm still your daughter. I'm still the Jenny you always knew. I just had no other way of getting to Hollywood and paying off debt. She was like, I love you and I trust you and I've got your back. Aww. And then I won Play Me of the Year. And I was like, oh no. But
a new photo shoot.
A new photo shoot. I'm like, so I went back into town. We're eating. I took them out for steak. It's really fancy filet mignon. And we're eating. And they're like, this is really great. And they're like, well, thank God it's all over. And thank God you didn't win that year thingy. And I said, well, that's why we're having filet mignon right now. And she was like,
you're here now.
Oh my God. I was like, but what I did was the entire paycheck that I won for that Play of the Year, I sat down with them after that dinner and I paid off all of their bills. I mean, their credit cards, their mortgage, their double mortgages, everything, the loan they took to put all the girls through Catholic school literally came out to about $98,000. So I felt like the goodness that came out of it. And I told her, stick with me, Mom. I'm still going to make you proud. Like, there's a reason. I'm just going to keep going. You'll see. And I've been able to do that now.
Yeah. And you said, I'm going to use this platform for good.
Exactly.
You know, and you have.
Are your parents still
because,
around?
I mean, let's face it,
great.
That did launch your career.
Correct.
I mean, yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
It got me into Hollywood. And then, truth be told, that what launched me was MTV.
Yeah,
and
that's true.
MTV did not want me to audition because of Playboy. No one wanted me to audition. They're like, those girls don't talk. You have a purpose and you fulfilled it. And I'm like, oh no, you haven't met me. So I crashed my MTV audition because they wouldn't let me in. So there was 400 girls auditioning and I auditioned and I kept getting callbacks until they were like, are you that playmate they kept calling? And I'm like, yes, that is me. So
you've done a lot of, I mean, obviously host different shows. What was your favorite?
I loved hosting Singled Out. That was fun because it was such a juxtaposition.
Do you remember that?
I don't know that we were watching TV at that time.
It was a wild
life
show.
must have been
What
turmoil.
year was that?
That was around, I would say 1997.
Okay.
97. And
We were
then
Disney
I got
members.
to tell you,
Yeah.
I've loved all of my jobs. I've had such a variety. I've done so many sitcoms. I've done some films, but I've also hosted, New Year's Eve for 10 years. I had my own radio show for 7 years. I hosted The View for a year. That was probably my least favorite job.
Oh gosh.
Are you friends
I
with
don't
those
even want to go there.
ladies?
No.
Is that the same spot?
But Masked Singer is like the ultimate because it's a judging show where I get to give flowers to people. I don't do insults. And I love that. It's such a high vibrational show.
You have a blast on there.
Love it.
Yeah. Yeah. I honestly, I watch it and go like, man, I would have so much fun on that show.
It's a great show.
She'd never even watch it. But it's like, it's so fun because all along you don't know who this is.
That's
and y'all
right.
are guessing along.
That's right. And
Yeah,
it's family fun because a lot of parents come up to me on the road and they're like, this is the only show that gets my kids off their phone, off their computers, and we sit down as a family and we watch it. So I'm like, oh my God, that makes me feel so good on my heart. Like as I get older, of course, I want everything to resonate where I'm at now.
Could you ever do the American Idol where you have to rip into people a little bit?
No.
That's funny. Yeah. You couldn't go, that sucked. No.
Well, I was on The View, and the reason why they hired me initially because they wanted to get rid of the polarizing politics. So like, let's bring in somebody light and fluffy.
Yeah.
And they brought me in to be more, like pop culture fun.
What year was that?
I don't know.
Must have been a long time
11
ago.
years ago. Let's say
Okay,
11
yeah,
years
sorry,
ago.
okay.
And so then when I got there, after a week, Barbara Walters did not like the pop culture fluffiness. She wanted to go back to politics and fighting. And I am non-confrontational. Like if you want to win an argument, you know what I say? You win.
You're non-confrontational, but yet you stand hard.
In my yes.
I'm the same way.
In my cause.
I am non-confrontational, but man, I will stand up for everything I believe
If
strong.
there's a calling of my truth and my story for my son and everything I've gone through, of course, but I'm not going I'm not going to die on a hill about, the guy that was a politician that's having an affair that I think that should be now outed. I don't, you can win that argument.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's irrelevant.
It's irrelevant. So now I'm all about giving flowers, and I'm grateful, and I'm writing another book. This will be my 10th book.
What's that one?
The next one, my very first one was Belly Laughs. That was about pregnancy. That a lot of people, cute book. Now it's the Menopause book. So now it's all really fun stories. I do it through humor. Because it's me finding my way, digging my way through perimenopause, then through menopause, and now postmenopause. But it's all done with, hilarious and self-deprecating stories.
We didn't even get into your comedy. I mean,
it's a little out there. But
okay, I have to ask this question. I say I was going to ask it, and it's like I hate bringing up past relationships, but you and Jim Carrey, was it like who was funnier? Did both of you are funny?
Was it competitive?
Did it work for? Was it competitive? Was it work for the relationship or against? The relationship?
I'll say this, and I'll use it as more of a blanket. But comics and comedians, which I'm not neither of them, I like just to do funny things. He's a real comic. He's a real comedian. Yeah. Like he's brilliant at what he does. But no one likes to take it home with them. You know what I mean? When you're on doing that all day. Yep. You're more you want this grounded substance.
That.
Oh my gosh, do I understand that?
Yeah.
I come home and it's like, and my family like wants me to be their doctor. It happens every day.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So you
like,
can
I'm
imagine.
Done. I'm off.
Yeah. You're literally off, and you want just substance and just easy like.
So it wasn't about that.
So it wasn't about that.
Yeah,
at
that's
all.
good. Okay.
And he did a good job though of standing by your side.
Absolutely.
And really funding the cause
absolutely.
Well.
And he was definitely helping Bobby out too at one point. So he got it.
That's great.
Those Larry King fights that I would have, that I have no problem. Like I said.
remember.
Oh yeah.
I remember those.
Larry King. Yeah. So
he had me on with like pediatricians, head of the American Academy of Pediatrics. Right? I mean, it was little old me.
I was like, I'm a mom defending my son. And I would, it's like, what the heck?
And he was like, you just have anecdotal information. I'm like, hey, anecdotal information is science-based information, jerk. Like we parents.
Yeah, the reason I have anecdotal information because there is no science. That's why. Exactly.
Correct.
Okay, let's because we promised. And, I want to respect your time. You made the claim that you went on a vegan diet and almost died.
Yeah.
Tell that story because it leads to where I want to talk about carnivore diet.
Sure.
And I teach on it.
So when I say almost died, obviously that's my exaggerating. I wasn't in the hospital. It was an ICU. This is my way of saying I was the unhealthiest I ever was.
Yeah.
I grew up in Chicago.
And you said that was about 11 years ago.
About 11 years ago. Yeah.
I kind of remember when you were going through that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mean this in the wrong way. I mean it in the right way because I look at you now. You look amazing. But I remember you not looking so amazing.
It's true.
Okay. So
I literally it was like cortisol face. It was just, I'm inflamed. I was very inflamed. But it was bad. And the reason why I started was because I would do a poker night with Ellen. And Ellen was very much into being a vegan and would show me videos. And I was like, oh God, watching some of these videos are horrible. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to stop. And boy, that it was so painful. I was like, why am I so tired? That's what it first started. Mm-hmm. Why am I so tired? Why is my skin looking terrible? Why am I bloating so badly? Why am I constipated? Why is my mood changed? Why am I depressed? Why is my health? Why am I getting sick more often? Like it was kind of, I want to say all of a sudden, but still on a scale. You know what I mean?
Sometimes when people start a vegan diet, they feel better at first because they come from the standard American diet and, certain things get cleaned up.
Right. I've heard that.
Eventually, things start to go downhill because you do lack certain things. You lack certain fatty acids.
Yeah.
And really that's in charge of our cell membranes and it affects people's hormones. And
Yeah.
some people get affected faster than others. And I think this led to your celiac discovery that.
Correct.
Yeah. Because you were eating a lot of foods that were flaring that up.
Oh man. Yeah. I mean, and plus I'm sure I've had a leaky gut too at the time because a lot of those carbs, and I've also had a lot of food allergies. Mm-hmm. So there was a lot of things that I couldn't even have in the vegan world. was like, oh my God, I think I was allergic to garlic at the time and everything vegan.
SIBO. You had small intestinal bacteria.
Yeah.
We use garlic and onions as if you can't tolerate garlic and onions, that means you're fermenting in your small intestine. You get bloated after meals.
Bloated and throw up?
Yeah, SIBO. Yeah.
I was at a dinner with,
it'll literally cause you to throw up, heartburn, all of it.
I was at a big time, what is that director that did Forrest Gump? What's his name? Anyways, that guy. I was at his house for dinner and I was like, I can't have garlic. Well, the chef must have put garlic in and I literally went all over. Like I was that sensitive. It was bad. So I literally was starting to lay in bed. I was like, I thought I was detoxing. That's the thing. I thought me going vegan, I was detoxing.
Because they tell you this.
Yeah. And so literally I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to switch and get out of this. And as soon as I switched and...
How long were you in it for?
I was in it for probably about 8 months to almost a year.
Yeah, not long.
No, not long, but long enough to feel like I was...
Long enough to feel like death.
To feel like death. I felt like I was dying. And I still didn't get on carnivore then because carnivore wasn't talked about, but I just went more like SIBO friendly or, you know what I mean? Like more Mediterranean style.
Yeah.
That's what it was big at the time. And started feeling better until menopause hit. And perimenopause. And that's when more things started to flare up. And I was like, oh, I got to get going on something. And so I saw all these people online start talking about carnivore and how their inflammation went down, how their brain fog disappeared. And I was in such denial of it. I'm like, they're going to die. They're going to myself. And I'm like, that's.
And I already have constipation. So eating no fiber, I'm going to be more constipation.
Right.
But that's not what happened.
No, in fact, because I know it went viral that I'm like, I used to go every 14 days, which was true. It was literally like 10 to 14 days. Crazy.
Yeah. Wow.
Crazy.
Did you think,
did you think
you're
that was
smart
normal?
enough. You didn't think that was normal, but like, how did you justify it?
I justified it as a hereditary thing because I was getting enemas. My mom was giving me enemas back when I was a young kid. I was just clogged. Always clogged. So I'm like, okay, this thing, but it was just getting worse and worse and worse. So I was living on like aloe pills, like laxatives, just to try to get through. And got my own colonic system. Like I was starting to do colonics.
Wow.
This is crazy. I was doing 2 to 3 sometimes a week.
Oh, wow.
And I would like eat, I would get so distended. I would be constipated. I'd do a colonic and I'm like, something's got to change. I cannot keep shoving pipes up my butt.
Right.
Yeah.
I just can't anymore.
And it diminishes your body's peristaltic action too,
exactly.
Right? So you're like,
I'm like, I'm like going into a natural disaster here with my body. So I'm like, fine, I'm going to listen to all these influencers talking about carnivore. I'm just going to do it. It was so miraculous for me.
Carnivore, I'm just people watching go, what are they talking about? It's basically an all meat diet.
It's all meat. It's all meat. And by the way, because I saw some people when I mentioned about being how vegan hurt me, it actually being a vegan does help some people. Like that's why it's so beautiful that we're all individuals.
Well, by the way, my principle that I've taught for years is moving out of different diets, in and out of different diets.
Yeah.
It's called diet variation. So you can be plant-based, vegan, carnivore, keto, paleo, moving in and out. But the problem is when you stay in one diet too long, no culture ever in the history of humanity has done that.
Correct.
They were forced to change.
That's right.
But that said, today, carnivore diets really help people because so much leaky gut, even plant toxins, people don't know what I mean. They're there because there should be there, meaning plants have toxins like lectins, phytates, oxalates.
That's exactly
that
right.
protect them in the wild from, being eaten. But these plant toxins, when you have a leaky gut, cause a lot of people a lot of problems. And when they get rid of the plants, they go, what? And de-inflame.
And I was such a denial because I'm like, I'm a healthy eater. I'm organic. I mean, I would scrub my vegetables when they came home. I would have a relationship with them. I'm like talking to them. I love making salads and beautiful vegetables and organic and all of this great stuff. And then to give that up, it was really hard. It was like an emotional funeral for my food. I was like, goodbye, my little broccoli.
So you're carnivore now?
So I did carnivore straight for about 7 months. And I could not believe, literally no more bloat. Like immediately started going to the bathroom. I remember.
Imagine that.
So no fiber.
Yeah, no
but you started going to the bathroom every day.
Starting back, and by the way, I'm hardcore because I can't have eggs. Because there's carnivore people that have eggs and their steak. Mm-hmm. I was allowed to have just meat. And of course I did, ancestral from farmers.
Right.
I never went to the store.
Right.
So very, very, very clean, kidney, liver, heart.
Yeah, you did it right.
I did it right. And 6 months, I was like, I was always like wondering why my acne, I always had some acne on my face. My acne disappeared. My brain fog. I'm like, oh my God, I just got smarter. Wow. Yeah, I was having trouble, like literally putting words in correct order in sentences. I could not, I was starting to, I was like, what is wrong with me? I couldn't form a complete sentence. It really was. It was misfiring. I was sleeping better. My mood was better. Like any kind of bouts of sadness days or anything like that, gone. I had more energy. I don't drink caffeine. I'm allergic to coffee. So I always live on my own high of like food and the environment. The most energy I've ever had. Wow. It's the whites of my eyes, so white. It was just a beautiful relationship. And then I was like, I'm going to go now enter some salmon, wild caught salmon into my diet just to kind of change it up. So I still just do meats and salmon and then avocado. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of the role that I live in right now. I don't eat breakfast. My body doesn't work great. So I do intermittent and I do a big fat giant. I do a protein shake. My protein shake is because menopause, we need more protein.
I keep telling her all the time. Yeah, she's been in menopause, but you felt better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. For sure. Yep. I mean, I was upset. I was just losing muscle and I had some stuff with my spine. So I had stem cells and things and couldn't keep myself doing what I was doing before. But when I started putting protein in my diet regularly.
Yeah. I mean, she just got into bad habits of she's so efficient. She would get up, not eat whatever for a long time.
And I can eat whatever when I eat and it doesn't affect me one way or another.
One of the things
it does.
Women go through perimenopause and menopause because I've taught fasting for many, many years, right? But now it's very in vogue, especially intermittent fasting daily. But I found women going through perimenopause and menopause, they need more feast days.
They do.
Yeah. So I just remind her, it's like, get up and eat breakfast 3 days a week.
That's true.
It's like, or at least do a protein shake first thing in the morning. And then other days you can go till 2, 3 o'clock and, not eat. But
I do a big fat shake, a big fat protein shake around noon. And then I'll have a big meal around 5:30 and then I'm good for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And it feels good. And then I do a protein shake actually maybe an hour and a half after my meal. If I get the sweets or something.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Even though there's no sweet, there's just a little bit of honey with peas, straight up peas. It's the most boring protein shake ever because I can't have almonds. I can't have cashews. Yeah. So my protein shakes are
you're definitely reacting to some of the plant toxins. But as the gut heals, especially if you look upstream and I help you with that toxicity part, your gut will heal. And then you'll be able to introduce these slowly back in.
Well, let me ask you this, Doc.
Yeah.
Because I've had so many medical issues I did all this healing, was feeling great, and I'm still feeling great, except I've been on antibiotics for like 4 months. And because of the multiple mouth surgeries I've had, and when they give me antibiotics, I feel like they're handing me cyanide. I mean, and I shouldn't do that because our brain thoughts have a lot of power. And I'm like, here's my leaky gut and all of my issues. And I've been on antibiotics for 4 months. Yeah. And I'm still in
antibiotics. And again, so we talked about the FMT. This is that's going to have to be part of your future.
It is,
because
right?
you've gotten rid of so many bacteria.
So many.
I mean, childhood, that a lot of those are irreplaceable without doing an FMT. So
now this might be something that I daydreamed or it was something I saw, but do you pick up people's attributes after you do a fecal?
Well, there's a lot of talk about that because if you take someone who's fat and take their fecal matter, yes, you could end up messing up your metabolism. That's why it's important what donor you choose.
So if you go to a donor place, do you get to go through a catalog of people and say, oh, this one's only 120 pounds, I'll take them?
They have donors that they've used, tested, still test, right? Have a history of,
so
no vaccines, Yeah, I mean, they're very, very, everything depends on it. I mean, the FDA is looking at them. Okay. I mean, this is not they're not playing around because, God forbid one person gets a negative
Right.
reaction.
But I could probably take my sisters, right?
Yeah,
She doesn't know
a lot
it
of people
yet,
do
but
that.
I'm about to ask you, sister.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, honestly, if your sister's super healthy, sometimes really
Yeah.
healthy family members are the way to go.
And not
Okay.
Yeah.
medicated or
Yeah.
hasn't done
A lot of
prescription
antibiotics.
drugs.
Yeah.
No,
Mhm.
no.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. I mean, and sometimes that is the key because your bacteria and hers will.
Yeah, that's usually
Yeah.
best, actually,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
If it's a family member, I'm praying because I've had it.
It's
last
gotten,
year.
we used to have to send these people to Tampa, a hospital in Tampa that did it. Now it's expanded. Now you can get it done much easier, even to the point where they'll ship you the freeze-dried samples
You're
from
kidding.
donors that they've used. Matter of fact, they're even looking at conditions, and they'll send you, certain donors for certain conditions. So it's gotten
Really?
pretty
It's
sophisticated.
sophisticated.
But anyway, I mean, the carnivore diet, it's something that it could easily be criticized because you're eating only meat. But what people have to understand is, in times, again, when we look at ancient cultures, they were forced in many times, but that's all they could eat for
Correct.
different reasons. Keto, carnivore, and I always say keto is not even a diet. It's just a metabolic state. When you go low carb, it forces your body to burn more fat, make ketones for your brain. Switching diets is healing. It really is. And the power of creating more diversity is diet switch.
It is,
So,
isn't it?
But you have to
Can
go slow.
Can you answer the question as to why carnivore allowed me to go number 2 again? Like,
Yeah. So let me tell you a story. Okay, so Benazotti, I don't know if you know who he is, but he was one of my students, still is, for a long time. He has a big following out there in the keto camp world. So he had Raynaud's, some other autoimmune conditions, right? Big health challenges in his life that he faced. But he went keto and it changed his life. Okay, and then he went carnivore, and he went carnivore to help his autoimmune. So when we did it, we did a whole test of his microbiome, and his microbiome, what they came back saying is you need more fiber in your diet. You have very low diversity. Low diversity just means that you don't have as many bacteria as you need, right? So the more diversity, the better your immune system, the better your brain works, the healthier you are. The lower diversity, the more unhealthy you are. He had low diversity. They said fiber. So we did the opposite. We put him directly into carnivore. Okay. Everything you said, that's what he said. Okay.
Really?
Energy came back, blah, blah, blah. Here's
Yeah.
the best part. We retested in 2-3 months. I can't remember. And his diversity went through the roof.
wow.
Opposite. So his microbiome, without eating one piece of fiber, went big time diversity.
Isn't that
So the
fascinating?
point is the diet changed, upregulated these bacteria that were laying dormant, and they started creating new. So therefore, people that are constipated, their gut's inflamed, they actually get more diversity in their gut. The inflammation goes down and pooping starts to happen.
Oh
So,
my God.
Yeah.
So they were dormant, not necessarily gone forever.
Correct. Yeah, correct. And then the diet change will upregulate these other bacteria. But the point is it's not what people think. Diversity in the gut, it's not what people think. Diet change creates diversity because of a premise called hormesis, meaning if you stress the gut, feast, famine, and that's something I teach, like ancient cultures, feast, famine, that stress creates a more diverse microbiome, which obviously has an impact on inflammation, which obviously has an impact on how much you poop.
Right.
So there's all kinds of reasons
She's
why,
on it.
but yeah.
I'm so excited. I'm going to be your guinea pig and then fix me so that
Well,
I can keep
you
going
can
back.
do, test the microbiome. There's a lot of inaccuracies with it, but the accuracy is your diversity. See where your diversity is going to
It's
suck.
terrible.
Yeah,
Is
it's
that-
going to suck.
there's a number.
Yeah.
Mine was at 2.
Yeah, exactly. And now,
My dysbiosis was 10.
yeah. So So now I'm wondering where it would be post carnivore.
True.
Way better.
But I'm on all the antibiotics. But
That's
if-
the problem.
right,
Yeah.
that is-
I know.
Yeah.
I did all the work. It sucks. I did all the work. And then I had to go on antibiotics. And it does just wipe it out, right? I'm
Yeah.
at ground zero
Yep.
again.
But I love this conversation.
Me
Do
too.
you have any lasting questions, hon?
No, I'm looking forward to the follow up actually.
Yeah,
'cause
I know.
there's so many questions. And
You guys are so cute together. Can I tell you
Oh,
that?
well, thank you.
Thank
You guys are like peanut butter and jelly. You're like the perfect little sandwich.
I couldn't even live my life without her. I mean, it's because
Oh.
she's what I'm not, right? It's like I just couldn't. We travel together, like because I teach and travel so much. People say, "Gosh, how do you protect your marriage?" I'm like, "Oh, that's easy. I just bring her everywhere."
Right. Isn't that great? I know.
Yeah.
I have that with Donnie, except we have to not travel together. He films in Canada and I'm everywhere else. So
how long have you been dating Donnie Wahlberg? You have to.
You're
so
married, aren't
Mark,
you? You're married, yes.
Knowing or unknowingly, I teach something called my 4-2-1, where it's 4 days of intermittent fasting, low carb, 2 days of either fasting or feasting, where you just eat one meal a day, and then a feast day. Right? He calls them cheat days, but I'm like, I said, Mark, it's feast day, not a cheat day.
That's true. That's a big difference because a lot of people, some doctors will recommend that. And I'm like, what are you talking about? You don't recommend a cheat day, recommend a feast day.
Right. But what people don't understand that because when you're either low carb or doing a lot of intermittent fasting, feast days remind the body it's not starving and it fires up your metabolism again.
Right.
Right. And again, I say this, thyroid, adrenal, women in perimenopause, menopause, all of those people need more feast days. So a lot of them are too low carb, too long. A lot of them are doing too much intermittent fasting.
I believe
need
that.
more feast days.
It's true. So, that is true. Because I was an intermittent fastaholic. And then I started incorporating. I'm like, no. I'm going to have my protein shakes at noon. It made such a difference in menopause.
You just listen to your body, right? If you're hungry, you eat.
That's what she does. I mean, she's way better at it now.
We were intermittent fasting before it was a term.
Yeah, before it was even a term. Yeah.
Wow.
Fun stuff. Listen, I can't. Anything you want to say about the product
Just
line?
that I hope you guys support it, at least give it a try because you will see and feel the difference. And the more we can kind of spread the word, I kind of want to trailblaze that people can make clean products because the FDA surely isn't putting pressure on these companies at all. The last time there's been a truly regulation was like 1918. Wow. No one is looking out for makeup or
what
skincare.
Does that tell people? Why don't people think? Because whatever...
It's the same with food.
Yeah.
Look at it took Kennedy up until now. It's like, hopefully they start doing that with skincare and with makeup. But in the meantime, you can count on Formless Beauty.
Well, this is
Thanks,
what a pleasure.
I can't
listen,
wait.
The line, where can they get it? How do they?
Formless Beauty, you can get it at formlessbeauty.com. But also, we will now be in Sprouts starting in December.
That's great. Yeah.
They took us on. They said they love how clean it is. Yep. And it matches their clientele.
Imagine starting your day instead of 416 chemicals or whatever it is they're starting their day with, ladies. You could start your day with the opposite.
Formless Beauty. And we do follow EWG guidelines. So if you love them, then you'll love us.
And it feels so good. It does.
Thank you.
You're an inspiration. You're making your difference. You told your mom you were going to do it. And no doubt. God is doing it through you. Yeah. That's the thing. That's why there's never pressure. He chose you for this.
And there's more to come. Yeah. I know there's more to come. Yeah. I've only just touched the surface. Yep. I'm like, there's way more to go.
Well, I want to team up with you on that because I'm really impressed with what you did.
Thank you very much. Awesome. I appreciate that, you guys. Thank
All right.
Thank
Another amazing episode with these two beautiful women of the Dr. Pompa podcast, From Pain to Purpose. And you see what pain is in your life that God just may be giving you a purpose in. And more important, what is the end? Pain to purpose to what?
Promise.
God has a promise for you, 100%. Just like he did all of us. There you go.
Everyone who grabs a hold of it.
And maybe you. So stay tuned for the next episode. Remember, like and share, especially on topics like this. Please share the video. We talk about it, worried about it getting shut down. No, the opposite. Share it. People need this information. People need to hear the voices and the stories. Thank you. Stay tuned next time on the Dr. Pompa podcast.